Hey, DB, how are you doing? I hope you are doing well. And I hope that you can hear me. I am not in my office, but I did want to do the live with you guys. And I think that voices for the voiceless, I think she's going to be here. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, put a one. Oh, maybe you can hear me. This is not good. Hey, voices. I see you. Okay, we got people that can hear me. Yay! Good. Hey, Team Doocy Doo 222. And I hope that you guys have had at the very least a fun and or relaxing day. Hi, Diane. Welcome. Good to see you. Good. Well, okay. So let me give let me put up a link. Hi, everybody. Hey, Yvette. Hey, Kim. Happy Thanksgiving. Hi, Blonde PT. I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Bill and I were just we were just talking. He doesn't feel very well. his stomach his stomach yeah, I think he had way too much banana pudding. You know what I mean? Hi, Cinnamon. Hot, hot, hot. Good to see you. Yeah, I think old Piddlin' Bill, they had a great time eating. We had some great delicious food, but those triple helpings of banana pudding, that is not the way to go. So, how are you doing, voices?
Hey, I'm good, Jules. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. Like I said, I'm kind of laughing at my husband right now because he's doesn't feel very well. He ate way too
Ate a,
much.
ate a little too much Thanksgiving dinner, huh?
He did. Well, he bragged because he had his plate, everything. He said, "No, I did pretty good today." Then he went back for some brisket and then
Oh,
not no
yum.
no no not brisket, pulled pork, and
Ooh, yum.
then yeah, and then he had his third bowl of banana pudding.
Well,
And that done him in. Yeah, the banana pudding done him in.
he doesn't have that banana pudding all the time, so
That's
I think it's okay.
that's right. So he's in the living room and he said, "I don't feel good."
I
It's
don't
like,
feel
okay,
good.
if you gonna dance, you got to pay the fiddler, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, how are you?
I am well. I have had a really good day. I'm dog sitting today, and I had a sick dog most all last night.
Oh my goodness.
And today has been a little bit rough. He had a seizure a little bit ago. He's
Oh
old,
no.
so I'll be happy when his parents come home. I will be very
Yeah.
happy because, you know, having somebody else's dog when they're not feeling real good is stressful.
Yeah. Yeah. How long will you have the dogs?
I go home tomorrow. They just went
Oh.
up to Montana for Christmas or for Thanksgiving, and so I came because there's that crazy dog virus going around.
Yeah,
Um,
Bill was telling me something about that. The pneumonia or
It
some
turns into yeah, it starts
yes.
out as a cough, and
Yeah.
then it like a 6 to 8 week cough, and then it turns into a pneumonia, and there's no medicine for it.
Wow. That's very scary. Yeah,
So,
we don't put up we have a herd of dogs, so we don't have enough money to put them in a kennel. We have a babysitter that comes over and keeps all of the we kind of live on Noah's Ark.
yep,
So,
that's me. I'm a dog babysitter. I travel all over the Bighorn Basin. I have clients in 4 different towns, and I just go and I stay at their house. I take all my stuff and I go stay at their house and move in like it's mine and
very
take care of their
cool.
dogs, and it works out well.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I know the lady that helps us, we love her to death. She is a lifesaver. all the animals love her, so you have a great job there.
I love it because you know
Mhm.
what? The best part is they can't tattle on me.
Right.
So if I'm late with supper or I didn't get him outside in time or I left him out too long, there's no way I'm getting in trouble for it. I can't
There
be
you
fired.
go. That's so funny. Well, so you're up around Wyoming. Are you in
Yep,
Wyoming? I don't
I'm in
remember.
Wyoming.
Wyoming.
I'm in the Bighorn Basin,
Is
so
it
it's the north
snowing on
central
you?
part. We have about 4 inches.
There you
It's
go.
not set to stop until sometime Saturday,
Yeah.
and they're calling for 5 to 8 inches.
Wow. Well, so I have family in Colorado.
Okay,
So
yeah.
we've kind of been watching it, trying to judge. I wonder when it will get there. So the skiers in the family are really excited for tomorrow.
Oh, I hope you
'Cause
guys have a great time. I hope you
yeah,
guys have a great time.
well, okay, so me and Bill, we're in Texas right now, but
Uh-huh.
I have family that lives in Colorado, and my son flew to Colorado today. So they have the fake snow. I don't know what you call
Oh
it, where
yeah.
they make the snow for the slopes, but it'll be
Yep.
nice. It's going to be snowing tomorrow while they're skiing. They hope.
Red
So
Lodge. Red Lodge has opened its ski
yeah,
area. They opened a couple, I think, like last week. They had started making snow and then they got dumped on again. So,
yeah, yeah. So anyway, wish I was up there with you guys. I love the snow and the cold, and yeah,
well,
we're pretty toasty and warm down here on the Gulf
when
Coast.
when you're ready to change houses, just let me know. I'll go
Yeah,
and take care of all the animals, and you can come up here and take Bill to see the fish.
that would be. Oh, the fish are amazing. I told everybody on my channel they had to go over and see the fish. It's beautiful,
I go
really
every day.
beautiful.
I go twice a day because I go soak at the mineral at the bathhouse at
Yeah.
the mineral water, and do it first thing in the morning, and then I go again in the afternoons.
Wow. Wow. Very nice.
It's been great for my mental health, to be 100% honest.
Abs-
It's been,
absolutely.
ah, I don't think I've ever been happier anywhere
Good
I've ever lived.
deal.
This has been
Good.
really good for me.
Good. Very nice. It's always good when we find ourselves in a good place, right?
I agree. It
Yeah.
makes everything so much easier in life.
It re- yeah, and keeping things in perspective so things don't get bigger in in
Yep.
you know energy drain, right? Some things get really big in energy drain, and then it kind of throws everything off. And we were witnessing that last night,
Oh my
voices.
goodness. Did you like Jules, I know that you and I both must have sat there with jaw open, just like, what?
I found myself like getting on Google and checking dates to make sure I wasn't remembering incorrectly because I couldn't keep up. It was like, wait a minute, this is not my memory of what happened.
There was so much rewriting of history last night. You would have thought it was the revision of the Spanish American conquest.
Whew, it was so where do you want to start? So first of all, Morbid has a way of attracting controversy, right? It's like
I
his
think that's his stick. I think that that's his shtick. I think that that's, he's in that same Howard Stern
yeah,
realm, right?
yeah,
He's the YouTube version of Howard Stern, in my opinion.
yeah. But he didn't have to start dating the women from YouTube, right? That was
Oh,
a I don't know that I would have done that if I'm making a living on YouTube. Like if that's my career, I don't know that I would have wanted to include this because you and I both know things can go off the rails really fast
oh
with
my
some of these
goodness.
YouTube relationships. Like,
Heaven heaven forbid, even a YouTube friendship.
yes,
Even a YouTube friendship. I mean, everybody knows how my world started out here with a friend that really wasn't a friend and was only opportunistic.
yes,
So,
yeah. And just within minutes, something can interfere with that friendship or
yep.
relationship, and you're thinking, what just happened? I've been blindsided, but they are now running across into the end zone with a touchdown that they had been planning for 3 weeks, and you didn't know
Yes.
anything about it.
I think that's the story of how YouTube goes. I really do.
Well, So Bill and I, my husband's name is Bill. So Bill and I were talking because I think it was the night before last. Scott Reich had a show that he did where he was
Mhm.
live. He was just talking to his people, and so I was in there. I really enjoyed it. It was a smaller crowd. It was a lot more give and take and conversation, and then it rolled over into Patreon. So very
Mm.
very few people in Patreon, very few, like 20 at the most, I think. So I'm trying to wrap my head around why. Where are the people? Because this guy is one of the most popular people in the true crime,
Right.
genre on YouTube. And so I was really shocked by it. Well, comes out that he did a video, he did a story about one of the taboo topics that you're
Mm.
not supposed to talk about on social media, right? Lest you be canceled.
Right.
And he said that when he did that, his video got struck, and then from that point on, he has not shown up in the algorithm at all.
They
So
shadow banned him.
yes, so he's not they're not pushing his videos, they're not sharing when he goes live, they're not doing anything like that. So I said to my husband, I said, this guy is very successful. He's a practicing attorney, criminal attorney. This is so crazy that YouTube would do this to him, all because they're trying to control one topic, one narrative.
One
So,
topic, yep. But
yeah,
then you have people like what runs on these streets, and that is promoted out here like crazy.
yes. And the more salacious and the more kind of, I guess, ostentatious, the
Yeah.
more it gets shared, right? Everybody hears about when they're screaming and yelling, or the whole "Welcome to the Bulldog Betty shit show." The when they were in front of
Quentin
Quentin
Simons.
Simon's house, and it was so crazy. There were so many things that happened. The
Okay.
algorithm couldn't
Let's start
drive
there.
enough. Yeah, the algorithm couldn't drive enough people to that. But then you're going to close out a practicing criminal attorney who is absolutely knows what he's talking about.
Right.
It's just crazy to me. It's just crazy.
Education, they're gonna dismiss his education level for somebody who has no education, no formal training in anything, and is out there harassing every which direction. And that's, I mean, last night listening to that, when she tried to rewrite history and say that they weren't out there at night, they weren't out there during the crying baby music and all of that, that was
They
a straight
chose
lie.
they chose the crime baby music. They
That was
chose
exactly. Yes. Yes. They chose the crying baby music. They all went out there. They showed up and they did that. And
yeah,
she tried to tell us last night that that didn't happen.
just like just these are not the droids you're looking for. Right? It's like just
Yeah,
move
no, no,
along.
no, not us. We didn't do it. Nothing wrong with us. No, no, go look
Yeah.
over there.
And I'm going to tell you something. With that crying baby loudspeaker, I was traumatized. I was
Oh,
traumatized. The sound of it was so haunting and terrible. I had a couple of nightmares in the days after that I would wake up and hear this crying baby, and I was like, this is so unhealthy.
where
Like,
does this
what
come
the
from?
hell?
Right.
Yes,
Why is this affecting me like
yes,
this?
absolutely.
And that's, Jules, that's been something, since we had a conversation over a year ago. That was one of the biggest takeaways of the conversation that I had had with you, was remembering to question myself on why I'm feeling some type of a way because of something that I'm watching and somebody that I'm around.
Yes,
That was probably the biggest takeaway that I had with that conversation that we had with Ryan
yeah,
and you and I, and we were talking about things. And that moment changed everything in the way I handle the families that I work with. And I'm currently working with a family whose daughter is missing. They have two young children, and the father is in federal custody because of the mother's disappearance.
oh my goodness. Who is this?
Katie Ferguson, she's a Cody native that went missing out of Dothan, Alabama.
Oh wow.
The father of the children, the ex-boyfriend, showed up in August and they kind of bounced around the Alabama area for about a month, and then about the 5th of October, they headed back to Wyoming. And on the 7th, her phone was powered down, and they've done license plate readers and cameras in the states, Arkansas, Texas, all of that, and they've found that she was in the car when it was caught on a stop outside of Truman, Arkansas, and then the next time it's caught on a police camera, there's a bullet hole in the door. There's no mom, and there's two little girls.
Oh no.
And then by the time the car gets back to Cody, there's 3 bullet holes, missing a front seat, a little girl with burns, a baby that'll be a year old day after tomorrow. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Those are the cases that just break my heart.
Yep.
Just break my heart. Yeah, I pulled it up here. It said they smelled blood in his car.
Yeah, and that's how that article right there, the Cowboy State Daily,
Yeah.
that's how we all found out. That reporter got access to that federal affidavit.
Wow.
Law enforcement had no idea that it was even on a journalist's radar.
Yeah.
So at 4:00 in the afternoon, we get this article that's posted. It comes up on an alert, and we start reading it, and there's what we find. And that's how the family found out the details of all the stuff surrounding Katie's case.
Oh. So did they give the girls to Katie's family?
No, they're with Adam's family. They're with Adam's mom.
Okay, that's a Villas.
Yep.
And he's been arrested.
Yep. He's in federal custody now.
Oh my goodness. That's so sad. When did she go? Let's see. When did she go missing?
October 7th, her phone was powered down.
So she hadn't really been missing very long, has she?
A little over a month.
Yeah.
She'd been missing. It had been exactly a month when I got contact with the family.
Methamphetamine possession.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is.
She's a 33-year-old mother of 2 with a bad heart, also, that's on medication.
Terrible. Just terrible. Well,
so when you look at that versus like this interview last night of bragging up Betty and her bullshit,
yeah,
that it's hard to swallow. It's very hard to swallow.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. I don't know how many people here saw the interview. You can see the interview. It was done by Morbid X on his channel. He interviewed Bullhorn Betty last night. There's also other drama going on with Morbid. If you haven't heard, he's got this big drama going on with this girl that he had internet virtual dated for about 3 months. Then she flew out to California from New York to visit him. Things did not turn out very well. And so now she is furious and loaded for bear. And so they're having like this ongoing
feud.
Feud. Yes, it's a feud. They're both gonna tear each other down. Now I will say I did hear Morbid on Granny's Watching channel night before that, and he really was trying to take the high road. He was just saying, let's agree. It's a weird situation all the way around, but so she apparently tattooed his name
on her arm
before they met, y'all. Before they met, not after they had met. But anyway, so she tattooed his name. Then she got on an airplane and flew all the way to California. It is such a long story. Okay, it's a crazy story.
Hid in a bathroom for 6 hours, and then they holed up in a house for 6 days or 9 days, and then it ended with cops. It ended with law enforcement removing.
Yeah. It ended just like you would have thought if you followed Morbid. He does sort of attract controversy and kind of extraordinary situations. I think he's probably really brilliant. I think he's really intelligent. But like you said, some of this it's part of how he attracts viewers because it's outrageous.
Yep.
But so
Absolutely.
what? Let me ask you this question. So the girl flies from New York to California,
Uh-huh.
and then she gets off the airplane, y'all, and she goes into the bathroom where she proceeds to hide for somewhere between 5 hours and 6 hours. Morbid, he was waiting 6 hours because he got to the airport an hour before she arrived. So, so what do you think that was about? Why do you think she was hiding in the bathroom?
Well, that just screams catfish to me.
So
That
that's what.
she made herself appear one type of a way, and in person, she's something different. Because at the same time that was going on, he was texting her. It's okay. Just come out. We will deal with whatever it is. It doesn't matter. I mean, he
Yeah, I
was
thought he was
being
very kind. I thought he was really being, supportive while he was trying to
Jules,
tell her.
I have girlfriends that would never let me stay in a bathroom for 6 hours. Like, they wouldn't A, they wouldn't tolerate it.
No.
B, that would be the last time that they ever tried to it would probably be the last time they would try to help me if I pulled something like that, as somebody with an immense amount of anxiety that I can't fly because of my anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, and then we had one time I really got triggered during the Bullhorn Betty interview, and it was when she started kind of saying to Morbid that he was wrong and that anxiety, somehow she's saying it was just a theory. I don't know what that meant, but that it's not real,
But
that
it's
it's
not
not.
real.
Yeah, that's not a physical condition, and you just have to think about it and it goes away. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh my goodness, please don't say, please don't say that. That is so incorrect. It's absolutely a physical condition.
absolutely
Um,
it is.
and
Yes,
there is
ma'am.
real help out there. You don't have to be, so upset and anxious. But anyway, so you think that she was hiding because of the whole catfish thing?
Maybe, well, I'm of two minds, because there's part of that maybe there was something that she had, said that maybe she wasn't, so maybe it was appearance wise, and also maybe when she saw him, she was like, "Oh shit, now I'm stuck. I'm out
N-
here."
Oh, I don't
You know,
think so. I think she was all over him all
you
week.
think so?
Yeah.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah. She would That was part of the big drama, is that when he finally snapped and told her you have to leave, she had come into his bedroom and said that she had talked to her dad and her dad wasn't going to be able to pick her up. So she needed
Oh,
to
that's right.
stay for an extra week, and that she
Oh,
either wanted to stay at his house with him or she wanted him to pay for another week at a hotel.
which he was already out. Let's see, money
More
flight.
than twenty five
They
hundred dollars.
Right. The airline flight, the items that she needed to feel like she was at home, a bidet, tampons, pads,
Yeah, that was bizarre
blackout
too.
curtains,
Uh-huh.
um, I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
And then she gets there and says she's, we totally forgot. Then there was the Universal Studios and Disneyland tickets that he paid for.
And he paid for the VIP early entry, which
Yes, the
was
fast
several hundred dollars just right by itself, just to get there earlier than everybody else.
right. I
No,
mean,
he dropped a chunk of cash for sure. Um, so I don't know if you saw this or not. Now, some of you have. You know what I'm talking about. So somehow she has like this magic uh filter,
oh yeah.
some something. I don't know how it works, but
Oh, you can put them on. You can download an app.
yeah, but this filter is taking about 80 pounds off. How does that happen?
Oh, you can do that with the slimming of the face. You wouldn't believe the kind of filters they have nowadays, Jules.
I could look when he was saying, the first thing I saw was him, he was recording her.
Right.
I mean, I think she's a beautiful girl, but no doubt about it. She's lovely. But he was talking about it, and I was like, well, why is he acting like that? She's pretty. I mean,
She
what do you mean
definitely
catfish? She's
she definitely wasn't
beautiful.
ugly.
No
We'll say that.
way.
I mean, she
Yeah.
wasn't ugly. She's an attractive woman.
But then, I went over to Alex's channel where she was on the channel with them.
Yeah.
She looks like she's 110, 105 pounds. I mean, she looked, and I looked at that, my jaw hit the ground, and I thought, how? How? I can't, this isn't just a filter. This is like a complete change. Like, it doesn't even look like the same young lady.
No,
So,
not at all. It did not look like the image that he showed of her, and then when you see her, it's like night and day. I mean, absolutely different. And then even in the law enforcement footage that was shown.
yeah, yeah. So, so the, I mean, I get where Glaire's, I mean, not Glaire, that was a whole other drama, but I get where Morbid's coming from, that he felt surprised because he was used to seeing her one way, and then when she got there, it was much different. So I'm kind of like, I'm kind of with you. I think she got there and she knew, hey, I do look much different than what I did on the camera, but she ultimately found the courage to come out after 6 hours. And then I thought that he was like really gracious and kind to her.
Well, she didn't find the courage. The security staff made her come out.
So they went into the bathroom to get her.
Yeah, she had to leave. They security made her leave.
Okay. And
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So all this drama is happening, right? All this is
Mhm.
happening, and she declares war on more. Tell them the part about the last night where she's supposed to fly out the next morning, and then it all goes off the rails, and ultimately the police are called.
Okay, so it's the last night, and she had come into the bedroom and said that she couldn't her dad couldn't pick her up from the airport, and she would need to stay another week. And Morbid was like, "Nope, nope, you gotta go. I will get you an Uber. I will pay for a hotel room at the airport with a 24-hour shuttle. I will do this, I will do that. You gotta go. You gotta go." And then he starts recording. And she starts recording. And then it's back and forth. And she instantly went into victim mode. She instantly went into, "Why are you doing this to me? I didn't do anything wrong." Crying, sobbing, sobbing. And
Yeah,
then like she wouldn't finish packing her bag. It had been like an all day affair to get her to pack this bag so that she could go on about her way the next day. And it I mean, he was forced to call law enforcement because at that point, it wasn't safe for either one of them to be in that house. At any point in
agreed.
time, she, as vindictive as she's coming off now,
Well, she
um,
did tell Granny's watching. She did say that Morbid was being abusive, and
oh,
Granny said, on the video? And she's like, yes, because he told me this. And everybody was just in shock, going, wow, girl. He was really tolerant and trying to really be helpful, but still trying to protect himself.
well,
It
and
got
that was the
really
bigger
weird.
thing. I mean, she got really weird, uh,
Yeah,
like scary weird that I'm honestly, I don't blame him for recording. And it's actually probably, I mean, he's probably lucky that he did record
absolutely.
because otherwise, at this point, with as vindictive as she is, it could easily ended up in he said, she said type of a scenario that could have been very detrimental to, the liar and the liee.
Yes. So I thought that there were several good lessons to come out of this whole thing. No, the first really good lesson I think was we really need to be really cognizant that the people that we may meet on social media,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
we don't really know them. We know the best version that they're putting forward, but then your own mind is filling in the blanks, turning them into the person of your dreams, but that's not really who they are. They're people all on their own. And until you can spend 24 hours with them, you don't really know who they are.
Till you can go into the bathroom after they've been in it for 20 minutes. That's the true test.
Sure, absolutely.
That's the true test.
Yeah,
This was this whole thing, like, I mean, I feel bad for him. I
I did
feel like
too.
I do. I actually have a lot of empathy and compassion towards Morbid, because what I ended up hearing was he's just like any other human being on this planet. He just wants to be loved.
Yes, sure, absolutely.
And
And
I could relate to him on that level. I also could relate to him on meeting somebody online, because that's the majority of his world. Um, but I see how scary that is, because
yeah,
in
protect your sanctum, right? Protect your place that you live until you get to know people. The thought of flying someone from across the country to come live in my house for a week, I couldn't do that. Like
but,
I
hey, I know that I made that offer at the beginning, but I was really only teasing because I know you'd never take me up on it.
No, 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 no.
I mean,
It's dramatic. Well, and it's a little bit different too.
right, yeah, I
two
get that.
adult two adult women, but in a
But
dating scenario, would you really bring some guy into your home for a week that you didn't really know, that you just were talking
well,
to
I can tell
online?
you. Let me tell you a story.
Oh, okay,
When
y'all
I was
y'all get ready. She's got a
when I
story.
was when I was 19 and in college,
Uh-huh.
I met a guy on the internet, and
Yeah.
I actually transferred from one college to another so I could be with him.
Wow.
And that was before you could actually send a photo of what you looked like online. That was back when, like, it was just like a DOS screen with a blinking cursor, and you had to know
Yes.
exactly what to type.
Yes. Yes.
And mind you, I was 19.
So y'all were doing like file transfer protocol, FTPs to come to
Yep.
talk and all that.
We
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
we would meet in a chat room called Coffee House.
There you go. Uh-huh.
And I remember having to actually mail him my photo.
Oh my God.
And
Okay.
as with Morbid, it lasted a little bit longer than 6 days.
Okay, so
Um,
that's what I was fixing to ask you. Tell us once you got there, tell us what happened. Like what your experience was.
Oh, I mean, it was great. I ended up, like I said, I spent a weekend. I went back. I immediately transferred because we were still in the window. I transferred and I moved. And then it fell apart.
Oh
It
my
fell
God.
apart about 8 months. 8 months total was all it lasted.
Oh my God, but 8 months still, that is a long time.
But it was 8 months of pure hell.
Okay, so y'all were kind of hanging
Oh,
on trying to force it.
we were vinegar and water, and we never should have been together.
Yeah. So
Now, as adults, we're friends now. And I mean, as a matter of fact, he called me this morning just to wish me happy Thanksgiving. We're
nice,
friends now,
nice.
but there's nothing that we know that we are not compatible in any way, shape, or form. And I think the saddest part about all of that is that he knew me before I ever broke. He knew me when I was still shiny and happy and
Yeah,
didn't have all these dents and dings and lines and gray hair.
yeah,
And so now we're great friends. We are great friends. We talk, I don't know, maybe once a month, twice a month, but it's nothing. There's just nothing like that there. And if I had it to do over, I wish he were a stranger. Just to be honest.
yeah. Well, so I've had people tell me before, like with like the dating apps.
Oh, okay, Cupid,
Yes,
plenty of
yes, yes.
fish. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I've had people tell me before that they had to set a rule, and the rule was that they would only text back and forth for 1 week. And then at the end of that 1 week, if they had not made an actual date where they meet and say hello and see each other and see if there's any chemistry or anything, then they would let it die, because they found themselves building imaginary people around the persona that was
Oh, yes.
online.
Oh,
That the
absolutely.
and that if they continued any longer than a week, then when they would meet them, they would be so dramatically different than what they had built up in their mind that they would be let down and disappointed and it wouldn't work. So it seemed like it worked more efficiently, effectively by using it to say, "Hey, you're attractive. I'd like to meet," and then going ahead and go in real life and not extending the fantasy period. So I thought that was interesting.
Too bad these two wouldn't have done that.
Well, 3 months, I'll tell you, 3 months is a long time to have a lot of fantasy life going on. because the things they don't know about each other,
Right.
they're not saying to themselves, "Oh, well, I there'll be time I can learn about her later, or I can learn about him later." Their brain is automatically through this process, what we call gestalt. The
Right.
brain is automatically filling in the best case scenario. So if she's kind of secretive and she doesn't really say
Okay.
many details about life, I might go, "Okay, girl, what you trying to hide?" That would be my reaction. But if you're a guy and you've kind of been raised on this image of, sexy, mysterious women are kind of closed off and sultry, then you may fill in the blanks and say, well, the reason she's not giving me details of her life is because she's actually rather mysterious and she doesn't want to
Well,
bore me with her details. So,
but think
and then
about
you
it
find
too.
out, no, she's a psycho. That's why
Well,
she's
and
not.
she did tell him. She told him that she was a psycho because she told him that she had SA in her past.
Oh, gosh. Oh,
And he was still willing. Like that's where for me, that's where he, my empathy and my compassion came to a direct halt when he started going at her and he made references to those things when he started getting really low and dirty.
yeah,
Like
that's
that's
you should never go there. That what he went. I didn't know that he did that. That's way over the line. Yeah, yeah. You can't use that to
you
attack
can't
people.
use that, but you
No,
have to
no.
as somebody if you're going to be in a relationship with someone, if they were strong enough to be vulnerable
Yeah,
and tell you that, that is never something that you should throw back in their face.
absolutely.
It's
Yeah,
just not. It's a no-go area.
yeah.
And
You got to be totally respectful of that.
and unfortunately, like, that's when he started hitting on those kinds of things and he kept, like, throwing it out to his audience,
Yeah,
that I wasn't okay with. I
yeah,
just wasn't.
yeah.
I mean, that's not
Oh,
"Hey,
oh my
Brittany."
God. So this gives you an idea of where this all started before the Bullhorn Betty interview happened, right? So all of this has been going on for several days, a week maybe. And
Well,
then
and then there's a little bit more too, because somewhere in there, there's, an issue with the Glare, who Morbid was friends with, that sent a requested peen pic to and the ex, but I mean, and it's just you can tell that he's not over his former relationship because he was wanting to do all of the things when he was happy in his former relationship with this new relationship. He was trying to duplicate something with another person that he didn't know enough about.
yeah. Well, yeah. A lot you've got to take some time. You have a long relationship, it breaks up, you need some time with no dating, getting comfortable in your own skin again, getting used to doing things independently and because of exactly, this. But he can't force another woman to be Beck, right? She's just herself. It's her job to be shipwreck Beck. But
Right.
but anyway, so this was a disaster anyway for the whole week before this interview.
Right. It was nothing but and it was almost like we were riding from one part of a shit show to the other, and we were just riding the shit show wave
Yes,
until it turned into a shit show tsunami last night.
it was a tsunami, y'all. It was a tsunami. That is a very good word. It was just crazy. So now, so that he invites Bullhorn Betty, she accepts the invitation to come and do the interview. So she's on there last night after all this trauma bonding that's happening. Everybody's triggered. It's all. So tell me the first time that your job hit the ground.
Oh, Brittany J is wondering what happened. Morbid interviewed Bullhorn Betty last night. Um, well, honestly, I mean, all parts of it. Well, I just kind of sat there with a gape mouth looking at my computer screen, like experiencing life at a rate of WTS about 70 per second. Just what are you like? I'm sorry. I didn't know it was possible to dislike somebody even more after an interview. I
Well,
know what he was trying to do, but it just made me dislike Betty
so
all the more.
okay, so help me understand this. Okay, So you felt like you disliked her more after the interview, which is not his intent. His intent was he wanted to
Right.
try to show the more human side of Betty and let people kind of get to know her above and beyond the bad deeds that we all kind of witnessed, right? But it
Yes.
but what was it that caused it not to, why wasn't it effective with you?
Okay, with me, I'll tell you right where my sticking point with her was when she ran her mouth and said she's an advocate. Number one,
Well,
I
she
want to know
called that
where.
her job, didn't
Yeah,
she?
that's exactly it, Jules. And what's even worse is that she said the words that I use.
Yeah.
She said that this is how she is able to do her advocacy. And I'm sorry, but for her, she doesn't advocate, she harasses.
Uh, it is, yeah. What happened with Quentin Simon? Pure 100% harassment, maybe even abuse.
I believe so. I mean, it should have been criminal.
I
In
agree.
my opinion, it should have been criminal.
Yeah, I think
Those,
that's a perfect word, criminal. Yes.
in the end, that family has victims' rights. That family is going through a traumatic situation, and to think that they thought Leilani was there the majority of the time and she wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what they put the neighborhood through.
Absolutely. And the
Not
poor
the
and the poor woman who loved Quentin that was providing care for him, they targeted her too. It was
They
really,
character assassinated her. They made her look some type of a way.
it was terrible. Yeah, it was a terrible thing. Okay, and then I also felt like there was a lot of rewriting what actually happened, and I think
Yes,
that period of time it was such a disrespectful and uh, uh, intrusive week. The cops couldn't even do what they needed to do. The chief of police was trying to figure out how to get them all arrested and get them out of there so they could just conduct their investigation.
$250,000 is what they had to reallocate out of the school coffers in the city of
Wow.
Savannah.
Oh my God.
And then she wonders why, when someone gets wind of a new case that she's going to cover. Hi, Mrs. Peacock. When someone gets wind, then she wonders why people may alert law enforcement
Yes.
to what she did, because I know that where I come from, should that stuff be pulled here, that could bankrupt one of my little towns in my state.
Absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
don't have $250,000 sitting in a school coffer's budget. Now, I know that all that 250 wasn't because of them. It also went to offset the money at the landfill search. However, 65 additional calls to Buckhalter Road during that time.
Mm,
How many wasted resources because of
absolutely.
what she did.
Absolutely. And I think from the human side of it, I think with all the circus atmosphere that was happening, I think that set up Leilani and Billy Joe and the rest of them. There was a lot more substance use that was happening, and with the increased substance use and the cops being distracted by the circus, that they weren't able to get in there and talk with family members and try to get them to at least admit what had happened and what was going on. It just
Absolutely.
it
They
just
help delay justice, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. It turned, well, like she said, it was the Bullhorn Betty shit show. She said it in her own words, walking across the street. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty shit show. I was
Yes,
like, oh
ma'am.
my God. Oh
Yes,
my
ma'am.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, so, okay. So she definitely watered down the Quentin Simon
Oh,
issue.
yes.
No
Yes.
question was watered down. The other thing that I thought was very, very interesting was her refusal to discuss Summer Wells. What did you think that was about?
Um, I don't know. I don't understand why she wouldn't talk about it, given all of the disaster that they caused there. I mean, that's where the wheels fell off of it and resulted in my bullshit that happened was because, again, I stood up and I said, "Listen, just
You
because
did.
you feel that they are guilty does not change the fact that in the eyes of the law in Tennessee, they are victims
And
and they're
I'm gonna
double covered."
say, you were 100% right on. I saw that live when it happened, and I was like, "She's totally telling the truth,
I
isn't."
well, and that's the thing. Like, that's the double-edged sword with this, um, with social media and covering true crime cases. It's the absolute double-edged sword. If we could get all true crimers on the same page so that they're being ethical,
Yeah,
respectful, and erring on the side of grace, caution, and mercy. Because
yeah,
here's the thing, us as YouTubers can go and we can close our computer, we can close our app, we can turn it off, and we can go do something else that makes our brains happy.
that's right.
These families, they can't. They are
Exactly.
living it. I am working currently with a family. We will be on the news, on the Billings News Sunday night with Katie's story. And today is the first, it's a pivotal moment in their family. They spent their first Thanksgiving not knowing where Katie is.
Oh, just
There are two
terrible.
little girls that are growing, that one is having a birthday day after tomorrow, her first birthday.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that in and of itself, if a person was missing of their own accord, wouldn't those things, Thanksgiving, a sister's birthday and a daughter's birthday, wouldn't that make somebody come out of the woods?
absolutely. Yeah, no, we all know. We know the truth. It's not been revealed yet, but we know where this is going to go. It's a common tale. You add in the methamphetamine to it, it's terrible. Oh, I think we lost voices. Hello.
No, I had to get
There
a
you
dog in the
go. Oh,
house.
it's
I
okay.
had the old dog, it's snowing and he's got a lot of fur and he's been pacing and panting. So I
Poor
let him go out
baby.
and hang out in the snow. And now I wanted to get him back in because it's really coming down now. And he's got a good layer of snow on him. So
Oh,
I wanted him back in the house before I have
sure.
to deal with a completely soaked dog. Anyway,
Absolutely.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, and that I mean, I've been working for since the 5th of November with that family.
Oh, so sad.
Like,
But we know, look, we both know the majority, not everyone clearly, but this is a slippery slope to talk, conversation have, because here's the reality. The reality is that there's people like you, Brittany, you guys are doing this nearly every day. You're putting content out every day, so it is a job for you.
it
So
is.
then, yeah, and so then it says to people, well, I'm only doing this to make money. But just because it's a job and you're putting out content every day, it doesn't mean that's the only reason that it's being done. Though there are certainly those creators that if there wasn't any money in what they're talking about, they would not be talking about it.
I know the first time that my jaw completely dropped was
Okay, tell me.
when Betty said, "This is my job."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if this was really your job, then as soon as you don't make what you were making last month, go down to unemployment and try to take out a damn unemployment claim.
Yes. Yes. Well, I'm gonna tell you when I got
When was
confused.
yours? When was yours?
I got very confused. It, I was grappling with this whole I'm in law, that she was being a paralegal and that she was doing probate, and I was like, what? What are you talking? And then she said these words. She said, "Oh, well, I was in politics." And I just
Oh,
went like a big old
so
redwood tree falling to the ground.
being
I
a
was like,
front
"What?"
row Joe, being a front row Joe makes you in politics? Or
She, I, I listened, and it was as if she said that she was an attorney. It was as if she said that she was, running for political office or running a campaign. And I thought, I don't think she really understands. I don't think she knows what she's saying.
I noticed that too. I noticed that the minute that she hit that sound button that did the da 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 da, the Snoop D O double G sound,
Yes,
like
yes.
that gave her, oh my goodness, I don't know where that backbone came from, but I wish they'd take it away.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I was that one got me. That one totally stumped me. I was like,
Yeah.
what is okay, so you hit a button and that's like your superpower?
I I I really, it just seems like that. It's like it's like she's playing a role that it's not like authentically her.
Yes.
Like when I listen to you or I listen to Brittany, y'all are real people, or even like heels in the air. You're real. Like what you're talking about, it's what you're
Yep.
thinking, it's what you're feeling, and it is logical and it makes sense. This was nonsensical.
Think about when he tried to humanize her with the interview questions.
Yeah, just was. And like I said, there were things that she either completely changed it in terms of what they really were, she changed it to something else. But more important, there were these taboo things that she wouldn't visit. And she refused to visit the Summer Wells thing. And am I remembering that wrong? Wasn't the whole Summer Wells circus, wasn't that before Gabby Petito?
No.
So you think, so Gabby Petito, well, Summer
Summer
went,
Wells, okay, so here's how this one went. Gabby Petito was it Summer Wells was already missing, okay?
yeah,
And
June, she went
then
missing in June.
yep, and then Gabby Petito happened. Molly went down there. Molly's channel was dying and she needed to figure out some sort of a publicity stunt to pull. And that's when her and Tiffany Marie did the dirty laundry basket and Molly went down there. That's when Molly met Betty. And then they planned the trip to Tennessee. And that's when I was
Okay.
supposed to go. It would have been a year ago in January because we
Okay.
would have gone. It would have been a year ago in January, I think, maybe 2 years ago now. I don't even, oh my goodness. It's
I
all running
think
to one.
two. Yeah,
I
I
think it
think
was
2 years,
2.
because last year it was the Idaho 4, and
Yep,
she went and spit on that guy. Remember?
that's right.
Yeah.
What did he ask about that kind of a question?
He may not know. He may not know about that.
Well, she's rewriting history left, right, and center, so
Yeah, just and I had to laugh at him. Well, not at him, but I laughed because of him being goofy. He kept asking her about her sex life, right? And you know what he was trying to do was to get her to talk about Dolly Vision.
yeah, I know, I
You
know.
know that's what he was trying to do, and she was just like, "No, what? No, I don't have sex. I haven't had sex since 1942."
And let me tell you, Betty, that's not healthy. That is not healthy. No wonder you're so angry.
Well,
Go
she
have an
sure.
go get a big O and you'll be all good. It'll make life way better. They're healthy for you. Helps boost the immune system, helps decrease anxiety, cortisol. Like they're very important, especially at your age, Betty. You're starting the menopause era.
So why do you think that she refused to talk about her friendship with Dolly Vision?
Well, okay, so I got to take that back to what Crime Sleuthin', the whole stuff, the recording that came out with Crime Sleuthin', and her talking about telling Betty, well, you got to wait till he's got his pants around his ankles. Because that's what I do to my husband when I got to have an intimate
I
conversation.
I forgot. Oh my god, I forgot about that. I
Like,
forgot about that.
that's my whole biggest problem with that person. That is my biggest problem with that person. She's openly stated that she is manipulative, vindictive, will take a dirty shot to her own damn husband, and people are kissing her butt out here. Dangerous. That's a red flag for me.
Okay, I remember. Okay, I remember the recording now. Yeah. Okay, so you think that Betty just she is she ashamed of the relationship with Dolly? Do you think that they're having an ongoing feud?
No, I
Maybe.
think it was a hit it and quit it situation, to be
Okay.
honest. I
Okay.
believe it was situational. If that's who it was, because she did say that she had a little thing.
Oh, I
And
didn't hear her say that. I didn't.
yeah, because she said,
Okay.
well, I did have a couple of dates with one guy. And then
Okay,
that's when
maybe
she
that's who
went
it was.
in. Yeah, that's when she went in. That's when he went into asking her, like, when the last time she had sex was. And we learned it was sometime last millennial.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you a really hard question. What was something that was positive that came out of it?
It absolutely solidified my dislike of her. It to me, it showed that she's here for financial gain, and she will step on anybody. She will turn any tragedy into a financial resource so then she can go and do whatever. I mean, she wouldn't, she tried to rewrite history about euthanizing kids. That she
What?
fought,
What? What?
and
What?
we
What?
have.
Wait. I don't know what that's about. I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay.
Did
So,
you say euthanizing
yes, ma'am. She said that some
children?
kids, yes, ma'am, Heels in the Air has the clip. Betty said she totally rewrote that one. That is an absolute total rewrite on that one because she said she didn't say it, and she did.
And she did
We
say,
all heard
what?
her say some kids,
Why would she say that? What was the topic?
um, 3 children that had beat up and murdered somebody, and she said some kids aren't worth saving. You just have to know when to euthanize.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
No. Oh, oh my.
Do you understand now why it solidified my dislike for her? I
Oh,
don't hate because that takes energy, but I have
yeah.
an immense amount of dislike, disdain. There's nothing like foul. You know
Yeah.
that bad smell when when the potatoes go bad, and like you walk in the kitchen one day and you're like, oh, what is that smell? What is that smell? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Betty. That's
Yeah.
Betty.
Okay. Question Chevron grill. Tell us. Okay. So Chevron had a different experience. She said that she likes Bullhorn now more after the stream. And Chevron, that is what Morbid said that he was trying to accomplish, right? So do you want to take the link and come up and kind of tell us why it helped you see her differently? I mean, no pressure. I know it's uncomfortable when people try to force you to come up, but if you don't want to come up, or and same thing, Brittany, if you want to come up and talk about it, but what was it, Chevron, that made you?
Please. I
Yeah.
would love to hear what somebody I would love to be able to see it through somebody else's lenses or from their perspective. I promise I will be completely respectful. I know it's not something that I'm known for, but over here I play by the rules and I'm kind. So, please, or even type in chat. I would love to be able to see it from a better perspective because I can't find good in any of what I saw last night.
Yeah, well, AK said his eyes were bleeding.
I know. AK, bless his heart. I was like,
He,
I was already on I was on a timeout from a slow mode, but I was trying to type to him and be like, oh yes, thank you, AK, thank you. And then I saw
yeah,
you, and then I saw you type in chat, and I was like, oh well, thank goodness. Thank
yeah,
goodness, because the smart ones are paying attention to this. The
yeah.
smart
He's a
players.
good, he's a good guy. He's one of the real people that's really
Right.
motivated, wanting to do good things. So when he says something's affecting him that bad, it's that bad.
Well, I have to give a real quick plug to AK because when he made his statement about grifters, pimps,
Yes,
beware,
yes,
stay away from Suzanne's case,
yeah.
I actually used that statement to show to my family.
Wow.
And I said, listen, you have to be extremely careful. You have to be extremely careful right now. You do not want people making money off of Katie's situation.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if it's family or otherwise. We cannot have this exploited.
yeah. Avoid at all costs.
And
Absolutely.
that 100% is because of AK Rocks,
Yeah.
period.
Wonderful. Good.
So
Good.
thank you, AK. Thank you.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. Well, I said I'm not gonna get into it because that's really judgmental on my part. So Chevron Grill, she didn't never say why she liked her. I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. Chevron, we legitimately are curious.
I want
Um,
if somebody can type one thing, even just type it in what it was that changed your view of her, please. I would love to be able to explore that.
Yeah, well, I have heard people say that they like the fact that Bullhorn just says what she thinks, that she doesn't run it through a filter and she doesn't think about how it's going to affect other people. And I can definitely respect that, to wish that people would be more authentic, but maybe there's a little bit too much of that too going on in our society right now, where you just say whatever you're going to say. It doesn't matter how offensive or hurtful or mean it is, and you just embrace it and say it anyway. So, but I have heard people say that is one thing that they really do like about Bullhorn, is that you'll always know where she stands with you, because she's not going to sugarcoat anything. She's going to say what she said. She says what she means, and she means what she says. So I have heard that. Um,
Oh, Chevron Grill says her educational background is interesting and her drive.
her drive. I Yes, Chevron. I would say she's definitely motivated. Right? She's got a lot of motivation.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
No one could ever get away with calling her lazy, I don't think. Um,
No, I'm gonna say that she is super motivated.
yeah,
Um, okay, so I can say I got a point from what you just said about the tell it like it is, pulls no punches, all of that.
yeah.
Okay, so that's something I have in common with her. Everybody kind of knows that about me. You always know where you stand with me. There's no questions on that. Um, but I was just made aware with my current family that I'm working with, that type of an attitude, and that type of um, um, sorry, I got a text message about the dog, so I'm good to
I
know.
hear I hear the poor thing trying to breathe.
Yeah, isn't that awful? He's just
Is he
wandering.
sick? Does he have that pneumonia, that stuff?
No, he doesn't. His mom just said that um, he can't stand up well and he needs help. And then the toe grips help. He just needs to be, and his chattering teeth, they're not sure. He does it when he gets anxious.
Wow,
So
poor
it's
baby.
he's just old. He's just
Yeah.
old. You know, he's been I've been in his life since he was a puppy. And he had a super rough start. He had such a super rough start to life because as a puppy he was exposed to parvo, and
Oh,
um he's a miracle dog. I mean, he
yeah.
survived parvo, and
Yeah.
but so I'm sorry, but I promise he's okay. He's just trying to look for a place to get comfortable, and his humans are gone, so
Yeah.
he's a little bit anxious.
Yeah. Poor
So
baby.
um I was made aware. I got told that I need to a constructive criticism that I got was that I need to learn how to soften my blows, because that pulling no punches,
Yeah.
um there's certain times that, and certain people that you're dealing with, and if Betty's saying that she's advocating for families that are in trauma, you cannot have that attitude. I
Absolutely.
just I just learned this lesson at how absolutely counterproductive all of that is.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
When there's trauma afoot, you are much better to speak softly and have a nice warm blanket than a big stick.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's what I've learned, and that's I'm learning to light the fire, make a pot of coffee, get a good blanket, sit down on the couch, and let's have a hard conversation.
Yeah,
That makes it all the more better.
absolutely. Absolutely. And the other part that I would say about trauma in these situations where we have missing family members, is that trust is already being undermined through the trauma. And they really, these people that are experiencing this, they really need, for their own health and their own stamina, they need to have their faith in law enforcement built up, because that, having faith that the law enforcement community is working hard for them and doing everything they can to help, that will kind of um, increase some of the resilience as they're trying to come out of the trauma period. So having faith
Yep.
in law enforcement and feeling like that your loved one who is missing, that there are people that really care and they're really looking, that is really just paramount to the family members as they then later try to navigate their grief process.
That's what our business does, Jules.
Yeah.
We try to be the bridge between families and law enforcement, families and the public.
Yeah.
And that way we can keep all of the information together, and it's all in one. Thank you, Brittany. It's all in one centralized database that they have access to, no matter where they are.
Yeah.
And that's what I do, and that's part of the reason that I think it was stuck in my craw last night when she said she advocates,
Oh,
because
yeah.
this is all stuff that when you're advocating for something that isn't made content. I mean,
Yeah.
I could easily go live while I sit and do all of this stuff, but it's not for everybody's
No.
eyes. And
No,
that's not
absolutely
the
not.
way she's doing it.
Yeah.
What she's doing is she's looking for that, in my opinion. I feel that when I watch her, she's looking for a pat on her back for everything that she's doing, and nobody asked her to do it. Nobody asked her, because she's not doing it the right way. Yeah, you can get a square peg into a round hole, but do you know how much pressure that takes?
Well, she also has come out, I mean, blatantly said that she can do things that law enforcement and investigators can't do. And that is because it would be unethical and illegal. So that,
Well,
it's basically what she's saying is that we're going to come in like gangbusters and we're going to turn everything upside down. And then after we're done, like a bull in a china closet, then we'll, try to put the pieces back together and hope that we know something. And I'm sitting back from the other side looking at these people who have been horribly traumatized, and I'm thinking, my God, they're never going to get over this because of the crying. But can you imagine, put yourself in the shoes of those poor neighbors who saw Quentin playing, who was around this family, knew them very well. The baby goes missing. Now they're laying in their bed in the middle of the night listening to a crying baby, knowing full well that Quentin is probably not alive. The amount of PTSD on that one street alone is,
oh my goodness.
I, because of the BHB shit show.
Well, yeah, because at a time that they needed to be able to work through their feelings, the
Yeah,
neighbors couldn't get a moment of silence.
exactly. Absolutely. And it would have been for the neighbors to be able to show support to Billy Joe and her family. Maybe not Leilani. Nobody believes that Billy Joe hurt that child. Nobody
No,
believes it. Now, does she? Maybe she made some bad choices, and we all do it sometimes in our lives. But but the for the people that lived on that street that were affected by this, just being able to cook a casserole and take it over to Billy Joe's family, that would have gone a long way to alleviate their own trauma,
absolutely. It's
right?
those acts. I mean, that's why we do that when
Yes,
someone is around, because that helps us alleviate,
yes,
because we know we couldn't imagine having to figure out a meal.
yeah.
I mean, I've been through, I've lost my sister.
Oh,
I
I'm
lost
so
my
sorry.
mom, and my family, my family was crap anyway. And so, trying to navigate through that, and then also trying to do the day-to-day things.
That's right. That's
And
exactly
then
right.
if you have mental illness on top of that and you struggle with depression,
Yep.
and then the anxiety kicks in because now you can't fully function.
Because you're in survival mode. Yep.
And then do you know what ends up happening 9 times out of 10? Somebody turns to a substance. And
Sure.
9 times out of 10, or 10 times out of 12, they already have a history of that.
That's right. That's right.
And then you just
So,
that goes back to the wells.
yes,
I'm sorry, but
absolutely.
100%, they come from what we've learned by the fact that YouTube has dug into the wells. What we've learned is that they are enough. They are generational trauma.
Yeah, the
Generation
intergenerational trauma, it's getting passed down left and right. Nobody has any kind of effective coping skills.
Correct.
It's just going to continue from one generation to the next until someone finally says enough's enough. I'm going to get sober. And then when they do that, then they'll get exposed to finding other ways to calm themselves and to feel better about the bad things that are happening. And then maybe the cycle's broken. But it is very hard to break that transgenerational trauma. It's very difficult.
Okay, so think about what then so that's what they already had going on. And then you've got people from YouTube that are coming out with their own self-serving purposes, and they're twisting everything. They're
Yes.
recording calls. These people are thinking that they're here to help find their daughter.
Yeah.
They're thinking, wow, there's some people that care that can do this. And then look what it ends up in. Dawn gets a DUI, ends up spending many months incarcerated.
Yep.
Candace, I mean, she's still got her own stuff from the fact that her sister went missing.
Yeah.
And then again, you throw YouTube on top of it,
Yeah.
and then all these YouTubers coming, approaching the home,
The
doing
level
this,
of
doing that.
betrayal, like it was just
Yes.
constant betrayal, right? People would step up, try to exploit them to make money on their own channel. And then when it wasn't working out anymore, then they would just dump the family. So and I'm not saying this family did things right
Yep.
or wrong or anything like that. I'm saying that we as a YouTube community, when we become the story, something's gone badly, just terribly off the rails. And I really like here what My Faithful said. Um, Listen to this. She said, talking about Bullhorn Betty, it was hilarious when
Yes.
Vanity Fair called out the interference and grifting of YouTube creators, specifically naming Bullhorn Betty. I think initially she thought being written about in Vanity Fair magazine was a good thing. She actually told Morbid that she was
Yes.
interviewed and acted like it was like she was interviewed for her expertise instead
And
of, no, we got judges all across this country that are going, oh my God, those crazy people on YouTube, true crime. How are we going to have a trial with those people involved? It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
I'm well aware I'm named in a lawsuit, remember?
No, I did not know.
Yeah, I'm named in the lawsuit
No, I had no idea.
for binders. The internet binders that I may or may not have made allegedly for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, there's several lawsuits going on right now, right?
Between her and her former buddy JLR, or current buddy, I don't know. And I honestly don't know if she referenced Olivia a lot last night in that interview.
She
A
did.
lot.
Yes, she did.
She also referenced Olivia's
so she,
mom.
okay, so she has a lawsuit against JLR.
No, JLR has a lawsuit against Uni. Betty sued Crude. Betty's suing Queen.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
Betty I mean, I think there was something that she said last night that I thought, ooh, that's not a good idea that she said that. That needs to be clipped and sent to the attorneys. I mean, essentially that it's her right and she can run a clock out if she wants to. She'll just tie it up in court for as long as she wants.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that is exactly what happened with Critical K. She thumbed her nose at that talking about the Ray Andriacchio. Yeah.
Case. Yep.
Yeah, she came right out and said, "Oh, they fined me $100. I'll just keep putting it off." And I'm talking about the judge threw the book at her.
Oh, she filled out. She sent her stuff back from Hawaii.
Yes. Saying that she couldn't travel, she didn't have enough money to travel or something.
Yeah, no money to travel, can't go to Mississippi, but I'm gonna mail my stuff from Hawaii.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
wouldn't you have mailed that from Michigan before you left?
I who I don't know. So anyway, getting back on track.
Right. We could do this all night and go down a million highways and
Yes, we could. But so I think that, so with the Idaho 4, Judge has recently come out and said, "Look, I'm just going to try to take control of this crazy thing because I recognize that we're supposed to be having public trials, that's part of the
yep,
constitutional protections. And so I want to accommodate that. But we've also got people that are making a lot of money off these trials and they're not following the rules. They want to be as
nope,
ostentatious and outrageous as they possibly can. So I think when he said we're going to do this, but we're going to have a courtroom camera and my people are going to run the camera, not court TV or anybody else, because I'm going to get a hold of them if they start zooming in and they start
yep,
trying to see papers on the lawyer's desk and things like that. So I actually have a great deal of respect for Judge that he came up with this new and unique kind of novel solution that may actually be genius, right?
well, he's starting to set an internet precedent.
Yes, I
I
like it.
I also think that might be coming as a result of, like, when, the YouTube stuff happened with the Lysick case,
I don't know what that
Adventures
is.
oh, Jared
Oh,
Lysick,
oh, oh, yes.
and
Adventures with
then
Purpose.
yep,
Yeah,
yep, and then the documents that came out, all of that, you
yeah,
know, and then the audio call, and I think that that's one way to prevent social media
yeah,
from interfering. And because here's one of my biggest concerns. um Anytime I watch a true crime or any of the podcasts or anything that I listen to, my biggest concern is, what if somebody actually stumbles upon evidence? And
absolutely.
there is every possibility these people that are suddenly untrained, Dolly, Betty,
Yeah.
um
Traipsing around out there in the
yes
field in
ma'am,
Colorado. Oh, look,
well,
we found a gun. Yep,
that one that I tagged you in, and I was like,
that's
"Hey, have you
right.
seen this?" And this person went out in that same area and found a firearm.
And then remember the piece of fabric that supposedly had blood on it or something?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes.
I
I
thought,
mean,
good gracious, this is a disaster. It's a disaster.
so that's and the potential that somebody could do it unknowingly
Yeah.
is
Yeah, not on purpose for
huge,
sure.
just huge. That and it, if you're not trained, I mean, I get wanting to do this. It's great, but go get with your local search and rescue. Go take an advocacy course. There's a no cost one through the federal government.
Hmm.
That
Well,
way,
tell me, am I remembering this wrong? Didn't Bullhorn Betty find Gabby Petito's coffee cup or
water bottle. Olivia says that that was Olivia that they say, and somebody tried to ask, but they didn't. The question didn't get answered last night on if if that was real. I mean, I've had doubts in my from my perspective. I mean, what's the
yeah,
potential? I mean, and if so, if and let's say, wild speculation.
yeah,
Uh,
wild speculation.
let's say it was. Let's say it was. Why does a YouTuber have their hands on it?
Uh, Absolutely agree. And here's another case. They just arrested the cop that took the photographs of Libby and Abby.
Delphi.
Yeah, but he sent those pictures to somebody here in Texas who then distributed them to who? YouTubers,
Yep.
YouTube creators. So we also had Chris McDonough
Mm-hmm.
who was basically interviewing witnesses, right? And
Yes, ma'am.
and that is his profession. Like that is he's trained for that. So he knows how to ask these questions, get information. The problem is when you're doing it for a YouTube channel, you have just destroyed the ability to use that information in a court of law to get a conviction.
Yes, ma'am. That's exactly what we talked about with Ryan last year.
Yeah, yeah. So as you sit back and kind of watch all this, initially in the beginning, it was really a lot of people who just find the cases interesting. They're watching the trials, they're wanting to discuss what they're seeing, but not people that are basically interjecting and trying to influence witnesses or it's gotten wild. Now, I don't include what you're doing. You're doing true advocacy. It really is valuable and it's absolutely necessary. When there's an advocate involved, the pathway to healing and grief is much easier and smoother. So
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I don't have any. That's not. I'm talking about going down there where they found Suzanne and running around and going, "Oh, look, we have a gun." There's really no way to verify whether that was actually a gun that was laying there, and if it was, maybe it wasn't involved in the Suzanne Morphew death. Maybe it was involved in some other kind of
Well,
murder. There's dead bodies all over the place in Saguache County.
they said that that area is known as the killing fields. There
Yes,
was in the process of searching for Suzanne, they found two other bodies.
yes,
What
yes,
if that gun went to that, and this person doing this has now tampered with evidence, and that's the piece of evidence that
yeah.
gets justice for that person's loved one?
Yeah. There you go, right there.
Hello,
So
that's obstruction of justice at its finest.
it is.
That's the thing that's what I'm waiting for. I
Yeah.
am waiting for the first YouTuber to get hit with obstruction of justice,
Oh, it's gotten so dangerously close. It's
interfering in
gotten
an active
so.
ongoing investigation. I don't know, any one of those.
Yep.
Wild speculation, absolutely.
Yep. Yep. So we do. This is a very complicated matter. How far is too far, and how do we people that are legitimately interested and they're trying to bring a story in a respectful way that is not stepping on the toes of law enforcement or victims or witnesses. It, it we're it, it's a problem, and
It's
and
a
I
huge problem.
and I like that Judge is trying something new. I like that. So hopefully people. I mean, he said stop taking all of this information and rewriting it and changing it, zooming in on people's crotches and stop doing all that. And people just kept on doing it anyway because we're raised in a country or in a culture where we say, well, we have freedom. We can say what we want to do. But but
But here's the flip side of that coin. Just because we can doesn't mean we
we
should.
should. Yeah.
And that's I'm sorry, but I I'm old enough that I grew up before the internet, and I do remember being told you shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
And I think that the internet has helped um, make it so that more people are just willing to say whatever comes across their brain, it comes out their fingertips.
There's that problem for sure. What about this problem? And this is what I say to my husband. It to me this whole because he says this whole YouTube community thing that it just he doesn't get it. He said it's like the Wild West. He doesn't understand the alliances. It's no man's land.
Yep.
I told him it's like the damn NFL. Everybody's got a team and you wear your team colors and that's who you fight for. And these questions are right or wrong or whatever, it's not really front and center. It's really more about community, right? So and all that's fine. I mean, there's lots of social groups that's the norm and It's human nature. There's nothing wrong. The need for affiliation is really powerful, and there's nothing wrong with it. The problem with something like murder, though. So there was this case recently. The guy was found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, and they deliberated less than 3 hours, and one of those hours they were eating lunch, and this was murder.
So 2 hours to make a determination on the rest of his life.
Correct. But listen to the story. The this I'm talking about this guy Charlie Adelson, who is a periodontist. He's an oral surgeon, right? And his dad is a dentist. His mom helps out at the practice. His sister was valedictorian of her class, went off to some fancy schmancy college on a full ride scholarship, now becomes an attorney. Make a long story short, she married a guy who basically turned out to be a young Dan Broderick. He was a brilliant attorney, but
Mm-hmm.
when she wanted a divorce, he used his legal skills as a weapon.
This is that
It,
trial you were streaming.
yes,
Okay,
and
yeah,
I
I
made
was.
enemies
You made
because
enemies because
I
of
made
that?
I made enemies because I said I don't think the guy did it. I don't think he knew what was going on. I think the mom was involved. I think it's likely that the daughter was involved, but I think this poor old guy, he just got roped in. So the people that testified against him, there were three convicts who are part of Latin gangs members,
Right.
and they all turned on each other and got special deals. So
Mm.
the other guy that said that, oh yeah, he said he met him one time for a couple of hours at a dinner. He said that Charlie Adelson had a conduct disorder as a child, that he was running around with people from the wrong side of the tracks, that he was a drug user. I mean, just just killed the guy in terms of talking about his behaviors, and said he was a pedophile, that he was doing sex tourism for pedophilia. He met Charlie Adelson for 2 hours one night at a dinner, and they put him on the stand and let him
Wow.
testify. Yeah. Now you want to know who
2
this guy
hours.
is? You want to know who the guy is that said all these things? This would be the guy that was dating his sister Wendy, and she broke up with him, I don't know, like 2 weeks or something before Dan Markel
Everything.
was killed.
Yeah, that's
I'm telling you. There's 3 million people on social media going, "Oh, the whole family did it. They're all a bunch of sociopaths and psychopaths, and they're evil and they're bad and they're horrible." And I stood up and I said, "Wait a minute. Have any of you paid attention to the phone call between Charlie Adelson and his mom? He does not know what his mom is talking about. Like, you don't even have to guess. The guy is clueless what his mom is talking about.
okay.
It's
So this could be another case of intergenerational baggage, manipulation,
sure,
family dysfunction dynamics. It's a
total enmeshment.
mother and a sister with a brother. The brother can easily take the fall and leave the mother, like they can sacrifice the boy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so there's definitely, well, I can't say definitely, but the family is consistent with what you see within meshed families, right? And the relationship between Charlie Adelson and his mother are really consistent with what is described in the literature for an enmeshed relationship. It's a lot of insecure, avoidant attachment issues. There's a lot going on, but
Yep.
basically, the mom pretends now she's a snake. She is conniving and manipulative. But when you hear her on the phone with her surgeon son, it's like, I'm just so stupid and I just need your help. You're just such a big
Oh,
bad boy. So poor old Charlie, who is never been married, why would he need to get married? He's got a full-time job being married to his mom, right? It's like this emotional incestuous kind of, you know, the
mm-mm-mm.
dad, Harvey, he's just
Mhm.
non-existent. Like, as far as you can tell with Harvey, he's just working on
Well,
teeth all day long.
that explains the mother-son in mesh.
Yes. So you hear him on the phone, and it's almost like Charlie is the adult and his mother is the child, and he's got irritation, and he's irritated with her, and she's like, "Well, I don't know how to do it." And so I'm thinking, good God, Charlie, you have been played on a level that is shocking. So so
Ooh.
so anyway, you got to watch it. You've got to watch the trial. It's incredible. So I'm standing up and I'm trying to ask some real questions, and I'm trying to say, but did y'all see this? Like, how do you
Right?
explain this? How do you explain that? What do you make of this? And I'm talking about people came at me with a pitchfork.
I
It
am
was
so
like,
sorry.
you don't know what you're talking about. You clearly haven't seen this, and you don't know that, and you should educate yourself more before you cover a case. And I was going, oh my goodness.
You
I
should. Do they not like? Do they not have? Are
no,
they new? Are they
no,
new?
no. I think this is exactly what we've been talking about. I think this is a group of people that bonded around this death of Dan Markel, and that it is just, we believe he is guilty, just like every single person in the Adelson family. They all did it, every one of them. There's like no discernment at all. They
Oh,
all
this
did
is
it.
that mob mentality,
It
group think
it
stuff.
is the mob mentality. And they came for me. I was the one lone voice saying, I don't think Charlie knows what she's talking about on this phone call. I legit don't. Then he gets up on the stand. They put him on the stand to testify. He's testifying for 8 hours, did not stumble, not once. Not
Nothing,
once.
never stutter, stammer. Like the truth is the truth, and it doesn't change, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And even when you go and you listen to the behavior panel, because
Oh,
they
yes.
kind of went through his testimony and his body language, even they were having, they couldn't say, "Oh, he's lying." They ended up talking about the prosecutor, her body language. Toward the end, they said, "Well, he must just be like really practiced, and maybe he's got a maybe he's just memorized his whole testimony." I was like, for 8 hours? You think the
There's
guy sat
no.
around and memorized for 8 hours? No, this guy's telling the truth. I mean, it's a weird story, but he's totally telling the truth. And I kind of think his sister threw him under the bus.
I think you might be right.
But
At least onto something that is not the general everyday think.
yeah, exactly. So there's 100, the population of Tallahassee, Florida, which is where
Mhm.
this murder happened and everything. So population 190,000 people. And this case, Dan Markel was killed about 10 years ago. They've already gotten 3 convictions of the actual trigger people. And now they've gotten a conviction with the first family member, which is Charlie, and they've arrested the mom, Donna. And I'm sure that Wendy is sure to fall. I mean, she'll be the next one to fall. So they've got 4 convictions. But when he testifies for 8 hours, the people that are testifying against him are bona fide, well-known liars. Like,
Right.
they are liars. And they go and they deliberate for 3 hours, one of which is lunch. And they come back with a guilty. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, you didn't
Wait,
even
wait,
have
wait.
time to read his testimony, much less discuss
Wait,
what
wait,
it
wait,
was.
wait, 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 wait. You just said a key word, Tallahassee, Florida.
Yeah, it was
That's the
done.
same state that our infamous YouTubers in. Why
Yes,
wasn't she over there protesting that? That would have been a legitimate cause. You know what, Jules? I have
yeah.
3 missing people in my county. Well, in my home county.
Wow,
3 missing people, okay?
so sad.
All under the same sheriff. I invited her out. She wants to protest. Come on. Come out here and protest this law enforcement. And the
Yeah,
town is so small that within half a block, you can get your laundry. You can do your laundry while you're protesting. You can run to the gas station and buy your cigarettes or your vape or whatever. You
yep,
can run across the street from there and grab a drink. And then you can swing by the grocery store, stop at cafe and check your mail at the post office, all within about an 8 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
And you could sit right there and you could protest. It's all under one sheriff.
Mm.
You could do something good
Kind of
with
makes you
your
think
protest.
something's going on there, doesn't it?
Oh well, there's something. There's what we're finding is that the good old boy club is taking over again.
Oh.
Because I can give you, I think there's other gossip, but we'll get back to that one.
Yeah, but
Um,
so anyway, like this deal with the Adelson case. Again, this is an example where the social media, um, we discuss these cases, and we we all talk about it for every night for months and months on end. Just like I'm complicit in the Barrymore
yeah,
feud situation. No, if somebody came up to me and said, "Well, I think Barry is innocent because of X, Y, Z," I would be like, no, that's no,
I
he's
would
not."
say you need to go back and re-educate yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So I have a great deal of respect for these people that have been following the Adelson case. They have their belief system. They are convinced that Charlie Adelson knew what was going on, was a part of it, and all of that. My concern, and the reason that I brought it up, was this: how do you have a jury that supposedly has never heard anything about a 10-year-old case in a place where there's 190,000 people? And then they get, was it 3 weeks or 4 weeks of testimony? And then they convict him in less than 2 hours. Is that even real? How is that possible? How do
I
you go back and look through the evidence and have a discussion about the various points
on a 10-year-old case.
in a town of 190,000 people? Every single person in Tallahassee, Florida knows about this case. The guy was the hot shot top guy at the FSU law school.
Well, one would think that that would be enough to get an appeal for a change of venue due to tainted, given,
Maybe.
you know what I mean? That maybe
Yes.
that would be enough.
Yes.
Okay, so what about last night's stream? Did you see how long it went on for?
Oh, yeah, for
11
sure.
hours.
It was
11
crazy.
11 hours. Did
Yep.
you see the chaos that ensued after the interview?
No, because as soon as the interview was over, I was done.
Oh, there
What
was
happened?
oh, GW got up there, Space Monster got up there.
Space
Um,
Monster?
yes, ma'am.
Wow. So what was her position?
Well, no, she was wanting to take up something else. I
Oh,
about that time I was running out of battery life in my brain.
yeah.
I think I think I would more hit like pissed off mode and was like, nope, time to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. Practice good mental health voices.
That's what I oh this I'm telling between this new med and the whole change in my life, it's a different me.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm
good.
I'm kind of finding the old me
Good. Good,
before
good.
I really broke. But yeah, and I've also started um helping to lead a DBT group because I use DBT every day.
Oh my goodness, that's wonderful.
So, I mean,
Amazing.
there's been some bigger changes. Oh, you got blocked on Morbid Stream, Chevron Grill.
Oh,
I
I'm
am so
sorry, Chevron.
sorry.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Like I said, to me, the conversation is much more productive, much more interesting when you have people representing a lot of different opinions and sides, right? That's the reality. I
Well,
don't, I,
that's why when he was doing the rapid fire questions, like, I really don't give 2 shits about Betty's sex life.
oh, me neither. I wouldn't have
I
done, I
mean, like,
wouldn't have gone there.
instantly I was like, "Ew, gross."
Yeah, yeah.
Ugh. I don't
But
even know
but
what
I think I really think that was his way. He had tried several different times before to get her to talk about Dolly. I think that was his way of trying to get her to bring it up, and she just was not. She just was not going to.
that's the yeah, and I do believe it because I think it was gonna take another turn, because then did you see how once she was like, nope, not going to answer that. Nope, not going to answer that. And then it's da 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 da. And then she kicked into a higher gear. And did you notice? Then she started getting brazen and ballsy.
Well,
Nope,
she
this
got
is the way it
triggered.
is.
Yes, she got triggered and she got so angry at one point her face got red.
There were 3 or 4 times her face got red.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, you lasted a little while."
True colors always leak.
Oh,
They
yeah.
always leak
Yeah,
out.
it definitely came out. But, all right, so it didn't change your mind about
No, it just all it did was solidify. And like I had he had it on slow mode, and that
that's
agitated
frustrating.
the crap out of me. Because like I seriously I wanted to know. Like you say you're doing it for these reasons because you need to have effective change. I mean, she told everybody she was going to DC to go in front of something for the change of the children. Number one, she doesn't have
Good
children.
God. Good God.
She doesn't have children. Number two, she was there for a damn Trump rally. Oh, she doxed headstones and headlines fully on that.
I saw that. In fact, I didn't see that.
She,
I
she
didn't
said
know.
it.
Okay. So was it typed? Is that how it came
No,
out?
Betty spoke it. Betty said full name, city and
Wow.
state.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I must have been talking to Bill or something. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, like, now, and then the response about that, like, Morbid, I understand that you've been doxxed, and I understand that you're currently in an ongoing thing that has been brought to YouTube once again. But I also see it as you are telling your story and in an attempt to come back onto YouTube and build a following. I mean, don't come on. He went from having a few hundred in his chat to 1,000 last night.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I
there's
mean,
no doubt drama sells.
he also knows how to work an algorithm.
Yes, he
He's
does.
been out here long enough.
Yeah.
He said I mean, like, he told people. I'm of two minds because, like I said, I wanted to be up until a lot of last night and the other night when he started throwing um noodles past in out just and thinking he was funny, which honestly I believe that I you could hear the slur in his so that meant he was imbibing
Oh
because
yeah, I think so.
he definitely got um more slurish and working harder to enunciate and make his words come out and not sound. But you could clearly tell he was intoxicated.
Yeah.
And then when he starts to weaponize her past trauma, like I
Yeah.
get that you're hurt, um, but in the same time, if you want people to give a shit about you, you need to care when somebody brings something of their trauma up to
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. And you can't use that as ammunition for some petty little argument. That's different. That's one of those things you treat with respect. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yes, that. Oh, they come from Miami. Okay. Interesting, Dom. We're going to have to do another conversation on this. I'm going to have to go finish the few days. I started getting busy with Katie's case, and so I had to drop off being able to watch YouTube because there was just a lot of research stuff that we were trying to do and timelines and that. So, and just really talking with the family and making sure that they understood everything they were being told. So, I'd love to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Um,
Well, we have been talking for nearly 2 hours.
oh my goodness.
I know, but I've had a lot of fun.
This has been great. I really
Yeah.
appreciate you doing this. What a great little holiday treat. Thank you, Jules.
Yeah, it was lots of fun. So everybody in chat, did y'all have fun? If you enjoyed the conversation, put a 1. If you learned something new, put a 2. I don't know if anybody heard of something they've never heard before. The receipts on his Discord are all over YouTube. Yeah, I don't. May I ask a morbid address to child victims
Uh,
a
no,
few months ago?
other than he said that that's been false. I think that's all I've heard.
Yes, they did. Along with many on YouTube, they made their minds up before evidence was. Oh, that, yeah, Diane's talking about the Adelson case. Hey, Joseph, Christine, how are you? Justice Jane,
Wow, look who's
Savage.
coming out of the bushes.
I know. Yay. I love it. There's Shalimar.
This has been great.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been good.
Thank you,
Uh,
Cinnamon Hot.
thank you, Cinnamon. You're a sweetheart. Yeah. So if you guys have not seen, wait a minute, where did the there it is. If you guys have not seen Voice for the Voiceless channel, she's got a great channel, lots of good discussions. She actually is a true victims advocate in the real world, not just playing one on YouTube. Um, so I hope that you,
I'm an independent missing persons advocate that works with a very specific subset of people. I prefer if they have mental illness, and what goes hand in hand with mental illness, some addiction, active or otherwise, and what goes hand in hand with that, family estrangement. And that's the subset that I like, that I prefer to work with, and I prefer to work with those that are in my state. I come from a state with 500,000. Most of y'all have cities
yeah,
with 500,000 in your state,
that's right. Yeah,
and that's all I have in my state. So one missing, that drops us down to less than 500,000.
yeah. Well, you're definitely doing a really needed role, really needed. So
Wow.
much respect.
I appreciate it. And Jules, I'm going to hop off. Chat, thank you for being kind. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. And today I said it earlier, I am thankful for YouTube. I'm thankful for those that I fought with. I'm thankful for those that I've walked away from. And I am thankful for those that support me.
Thank you so much, Voices, for being here. Surely do appreciate it.
Thank you, Jules. Have a great night.
You too. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Happy Thanksgiving. All right, people. So that was a lot of fun to just kind of hang out together and chit chat and kind of talk about, the culture that is building in the true crime community, that we need to be real careful that we don't wander into the actual case and interfere with an investigation or affect a jury pool. I mean, we can be responsible for everything for sure, but maybe we can be a little bit aware and mindful of the things we're saying and doing. And at the same time I say that, look, I get it with the Adelson trial and Dan Markel's murder. Following a case for a long period of time, all the little small subtle uh, differences in and nuances in the evidence, and you develop a feel for the case that is different. I get that. And I don't think I'm wonderful or great because I have this idea that Charlie Adelson, maybe did not know what was going on. um I would be exactly like you guys are with the whole Barry Morphew thing. Like, I'm convinced about what happened to Suzanne Morphew because there's no other explanation. There's no way it could be anything else. Um, so I have a lot of respect for you guys. I'm not saying you guys are all wrong and I'm the only right one, not even by a long shot. I'm saying that we need to be aware of our own biases, be a little bit careful. And I did that with Barry Morphew's case. I stood back and I said, okay, I'm going to convince myself that he is innocent, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So yeah. So we just need to be, you know I think it's natural for people to look for information online. I think it's natural to want to, if you're close by one of these places, to go sit in on the trial or to, I mean, I flew halfway across the country to go to the Barrymore Few preliminary hearing. Um, but but when you start showing up and making a circus in front of people's houses and interrupting the neighbors every single night from sleeping for a week solid, we've gone a little too far, or we're chasing down victims or chasing down witnesses, and it's a little more than what our role is, I think. And again, I will definitely take the punishment. If if you have issue with what I'm saying, you disagree, that's okay. Let's have a conversation about it. We don't have to fight about it or be angry at each other just because we see something from two different points of view. So it's kind of like what happened with the Bullhorn Betty interview last night. Um, Morbid presents one side of her, asking questions, try to get some information out. Some people, like Chevron, said, "You know what? I like her. It's different. I kind of like the fact that she's audacious and says what she means." Other people just felt like it was, more of the same, and she's kind of misrepresented history. But in the long run, nobody was wrong about what they witnessed. We just responded differently, and that's okay. But it does provide a really important nexus for a conversation that matters. This whole true crime genre. Look at what's happened with the death of Libby and Abby in Delphi. It's my opinion, I think that the judge was upset because she's a human being. I think she got upset with the whole Odinism. I think she felt like that the case was being turned into a three-ring circus, and she wanted the dignity of a court. And it let her embarrassment or her anger or frustration, it led her to make some really bad choices that will, I think, now end up coming back to really hurt her. um, so we just need to be a little more aware, I think. And I'm not thinking I'm all that and saying what people should do. Not by a long shot. But the same for me. I've been very outspoken about the whole Barry Morphew case, and I haven't hidden the fact that I think that there is no other explanation for what happened to Suzanne. Um, and they may decide to come for me. So, we need to figure out a way to do this true crime thing and be a little bit more, I guess, professional in maybe keeping a little distance so that we don't ultimately interfere. Um, Although I've had this argument with other people before. I'm a nobody. How in the world am I, with the commentary, how would I ever be able to impact a jury or a courtroom? I just don't have that power, right? That YouTubers just don't have that power. And yet now more and more we're seeing where judges are, they're aware, prosecutors, they're aware we're here. They're aware we're going to cover these trials and cases, and they don't like it. They don't want our interference. And that's a little upsetting. Oh, Nana Flower Power. Okay, so Nana says, okay, Jules, it's snowing in Colorado now. I blame you. I wish I was there with you, Nana. I love the snow. I wish I was in Colorado. Wish I was. Wish I was in Marble right now. All right. It was so fun, Dame. I had a great time with Voices. She's so smart and interesting. My aunt was destroyed by Ted Bundy when I was a child, but her parents, siblings, and friends said the trial was so painful. What's the shenanigans of fangirls and the TV crews? See, Cinnamon, that is such an important point. For us, I, I don't, it's not hobby. Hobby is not the right word. It's the mystery, right? That these cases that happen, the curiosity and digging for information and trying to trying to come up with answers, that is of interest. But for the people that are living this, it's really dead children. right? It's really crazy killers. But for those of us in the true crime community, we don't our approach is different. You guys know I don't do the gory details. I don't do um I really more or less try to talk about the human interest side of it, or motivations, why how people end up doing some of these things, they do. Like my view of Bullhorn Betty and the Bullhorn Betty shit show, and how it really impacted everyone who lived on that street that where Billy Joe lived, and and that the interference and the circus like atmosphere really sort of set a lot of people up for developing PTSD when they didn't have to. So it's a little bit different view from what other true crime channels, kind of talk about, but because that's just because my training. Um, Social media at a crazy level. Unfortunately, Cinnamon, yeah, you're right. I mean, when we're zooming in on some supposed or accused murderer's crotch, what are we doing? Like, what are we thinking? So, yeah, but it's all about the views, isn't it? Got to make that money. Cha-ching. All right. You guys are amazing. We have such a wonderful community here. I like it because we're all nice to each other, and even though we may have dramatically different opinions, we may see things very differently. We're all friendly. We just talk about what we see and think, and we're just friends, and that's what makes it worthwhile. Um, Getting away from the whole money aspect. When you start getting focused on how many clicks you're getting and how much money's coming in, you lose the essence, right? Then it just becomes a job. And that's where things go off the rail, in my opinion. And I thought Voice for the Voiceless did a good job talking about that aspect of it. So, all right. You guys are great and fun. And I hope that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And tomorrow, well, I mean, we're officially in the Christmas season, right? So, Merry Christmas, everyone. I'll see you in a couple days. Bye.